Questions?
You just talking about the team, the way they responded from last week, and you said last week you felt like the guys would respond well to adversity. Were you impressed by the way guys did correct the mistakes?
Yeah, definitely. I think we played a complete game, offense, defense, and special teams. So I was very, happy that we came out and played well. Duke was still a good team. I think, we just happened to have a good day, and we obviously want to continue that and keep going every weekend.
How's your shoulder feeling? You ran the ball a lot last week.
Yeah, my shoulder feels fine. Feels good.
Have they talked to you at all about how to take a hit, how to fall, stuff like that, to make sure that you stay off of it?
Not really. I've always been good at falling. I think even with my injury, it was just a freak accident. If the guy hadn't fell on top of me, I would have never hurt my shoulder. So, I'm pretty good as far as, falling and, when I'm running and setting up my own tackles and things like that so the defensive guy can't get a kill shot. So I'm pretty good at doing that.
Did you enjoy getting back into the running game this week and doing that more so?
Sure. I mean, whatever it takes to win the game. It really doesn't matter to me whether it's throwing the ball or running the ball. It doesn't matter to me. I was happy that we got the win.
EJ, you got pretty aggressive on that option a couple times, real late pulling the trigger on that pitch. Is that, by design, though, just how the play told you to be run?
Definitely. Just want to always, push up to the pitch man and never pitch off somebody that's not the pitch guy because they may have another guy out there that can kill the running back as soon as you pitch the ball. So, Coach Craig made sure I was, honing in on all my keys as far as the option this week, and he did a great job, getting me prepared for that.
Did you run that at all in high school?
No, sir.
Not at all?
No, sir.
You like that? You like that, EJ? You like that? I mean,
the option?
Yeah.
It's fun. I enjoy it because you can get out on the edge, and a lot of times those guys that are coming down, you can just sometimes give them a slight little pump, out to the running back and just cut it up if you want to. So, it's a true option. I feel like I can do whatever I want when I'm out on the edge.
Yeah, Coach Fisher was actually saying, I think last week, that he feels like you're kind of suited for it, truth be told, with your size and your speed.
Yeah, I enjoy it. I mean, whatever it takes, like I said, to get us a running game started. Devontae had a great game as well, so, if we can just continue to do that week by week, we'll be fine.
You talk about all the young talent on offense that's stepping up, whether it be Devontae, Christian Green, Rashad Green, and then also having a guy like Bobby Hart have to step in and protect on the line.
Yeah, I think with our preparation during the week, that helps helps out a lot of the young guys. Getting them prepared during the week. They're going against, I think the best defense in the country, or one of the best defenses in our conference at least. As far as going against Brandon Jenkins and Bjorn Warren and things like that every week. So Bobby's definitely prepared. Devontae had a great game. I always thought that when he had his opportunity, he would shine. And then obviously Rashad Green and Christian Green, they're doing a great job too. Guys that I believe in. I think the main thing for young guys to have confidence, and all those guys do have confidence right now.
You've had a lot of long pass plays. You had 3 over 50 just, I think, in the first quarter against Duke. It's just something you've done it well all season. Why do you think you've had a knack for that this year?
Just obviously my shoulder's not hurt anymore. So years past, that's probably why I couldn't, stretch the field like I wanted to. So, I think that had something to do with it. And also, just being able to read the defense a lot better pre-snap. All those long passes, those things we practiced during the week. Coach Fisher said they would be there. The scout team did a great job giving us those looks during the week. And, it was just like practice. Rodney ran a great route. Kenny got open on a good one, and Christian did the same thing. Zoning in and catching that pass. It was a hard catch for him. So, I'm glad that he caught it.
What about your progression this season? I mean, if you had to, just define your season to this point, how would you characterize the way that you kind of moved along despite the injury?
I would hope, that I'm being more poised as a quarterback. Just relaxing and just taking what the defense gives me. Last game I told myself, I'm not going to try to force any passes or anything like that. If it's not there, just come to your check down and come to a dragger or just take off, and use that, use my legs as another weapon. I think that's something that I hadn't really done earlier in the season. So, now that, I'm starting to play a lot better and my shoulder's feeling fine, I'm not worried about the injury and things like that, not playing precautious, so I think that'll help our offense a lot.
Do you think the bumps and bruises that you guys taken early on, do you feel like that's going to prepare you guys and prepare the program overall for the long haul, being that you guys seem that you're back on track now?
Yeah, well, obviously we won one game, so we don't feel like we're where we want to be. We obviously want to go and win the next game and do the following thing after that, but, definitely with injuries, you always want to continue to work hard and, push through adversity. I think that's the main thing for especially the young guys, knowing that we can, push through the adversity. And if somebody that's older does go down, we have younger guys that can step in and do just as fine. So I think that's a big thing for us as a team.
You guys have seemingly been behind by a score or two for a month straight, and especially in the second half. Just how much more fun is it to play offense with a lead final?
Yeah, it's a lot more fun. You know, you can kind of breathe deep, and I think, you know, that opens up a lot of the play calling for Coach Fisher. You know, we can pretty much, you know, do whatever we want, whether it's a pass or a run. You know, so depending on how he wants the game to go, whether he wants to waste clock and things like that, he can call any play he wants. So, you know, it's not like we're, you know, coming from behind trying to hurry up and score and feeling like we have to make the big play right then and there. You know, we can just, you know, kind of dip and dally down the field.
Is that something you noticed from a play calling perspective? I mean, did the book just seem more open, or a couple of weeks ago you had to rip out this stuff because the opportunity just didn't present itself?
Not really. I think, you know, his play calling is always going to be the same. We're always going to be an aggressive offense, you know, whether it's run or pass. Like I always say, it really doesn't matter. We're going to try to stretch the field and try to get big plays. That's the type of athletes that we are, and we think we can make a big play each and every play. And obviously you can't. You know, you still got to, you know, get the 4 or 5 yard gains and things like that to stay ahead of the change.
EJ, a couple of guys mentioned last week that it was kind of a rude awakening what happened at Wake Forest, and sometimes it's easy to correct mistakes after playing poorly. What do you feel how the guys have approached, or starting to approach this week after having success? Is there going to be the same kind of growth, continued growth, or?
Definitely. I think that, yeah, that's the main thing. You know, we all address the team as leaders, and I know I said yesterday that, you know, just because we beat Duke doesn't mean, you know, Maryland's going to come here and lay down for us. They're a great team. They have a great defense. You know, for us as an offense, we definitely want to come out here and score a lot of points because we know those guys are capable of doing that. So, you know, I think the challenge, we're looking forward to it. You know, you have a good defense, a great defense actually. So, you know, we're looking forward to the opportunity to get to play those guys.
EJ, how important was last week for the confidence of the whole run game, whether that's running backs or offensive line? I mean, to finally get that going.
Right. Yeah, I think that was huge. You know, definitely making those linemen feel like that what they do week in and week out at practice is starting to pay off. You know, and not feeling like, you know, we can't get the running game started because I'm sure they feel like a lot of, you know, fingers are being pointed at them. But it shouldn't be that way. It's a whole team. You know, you can't, you know, point out one segment group or anything like that. So I was happy that we got it started.
EJ, it seemed like the pass protection, especially against blitzes, did a real good job.
Yeah.
Did you feel comfortable? The touchdown pass to Rodney Smith, for example.
Right, definitely. You know, I felt very comfortable. Just stepped up in the pocket, kept my eyes downfield, and just delivered a good pass to Rodney and caught it and took it to the house. So, you know, I told those guys don't feel like they have to hold or anything like that because I feel like I can make somebody miss, you know, especially if they come out in the pocket and I can still throw the ball downfield.
Was that the running backs, too, getting in there and putting their hat on somebody?
Definitely. I feel like all our running backs don't mind putting their nose in there and getting nasty with those defensive linemen. You know, sometimes they're smaller guys, so sometimes obviously by default, you know, they get pushed back and things like that, but they don't mind getting nasty and putting their nose in there.
Thank you.
You guys were able to get some big passes early and then hit them with the running after. Do you feel like the passing game is kind of opening up the running game a little bit?
Yeah, I think pass can always complement the run, just like, you know, run can always complement the pass. So, you know, whether it's, you know, deep passes and then hitting it up and helping in the gaps with runs, it really doesn't matter. As long as we're pushing the ball down the field, that's all I care about.
How confident were you throwing out of your end zone on some of those really long ones? Because you had one where you were standing in the end zone.
Yeah, funny thing was I didn't realize, well, obviously I knew I was in the end zone, but, you know, when I looked back on film, I was like, wow, we were on like the 3-4 yard line. So it really doesn't matter to me, man. You know, I just focus on the play. You know, down and distance is always, you know, something that you have to focus on. But, you know, whether I'm in the goal line or, you know, I'm on the 50-yard line, it doesn't matter because I truly feel like, you know, the defensive lineman can't get me down like that. You know, I just at least get some positive yards if I can.
At the end of the game, did you realize you'd only thrown it 14 times? Or
No,
we
I
had that
didn't.
much success, so don't you
Right.
want more shots at?
Yeah, actually, I knew I didn't throw it a whole lot, but, you know, when Coach Craig told me my actual numbers, you know, I was kind of shocked, but, you know, it was a good day. We got the win.
Jimbo mentioned, well, we saw Bjorn knock down all those passes the other day, and Jimbo said that Bjorn and Brandon both have a knack for that. Have you seen that in practice where they just get in your passing?
Yeah, definitely. I think for me, it's not as bad because I'm taller than those guys, or at least as tall, so, you know, the throwing lanes aren't that bad, but, you know, they always get their hands up, even the defensive linemen, like Ant McLeod and Everett Dawkins, they get their hands up very well off a block, so you always want to, you know, have a good angle coming out. You can't throw the ball flat against those guys, and, you know, obviously we got, you know, interception off that, so that was good.
That can get in the quarterback's head, I imagine.
Oh, yeah, definitely. That's because you feel like, you know, you got to throw over somebody every single time instead of just throwing it to a straight lane. You can't really drive a ball like you want to, so it's a little different.
Why do you think the big passing plays have been there this year as opposed to years past? Like in 2009, you guys threw the ball, Christian threw the ball great when he was healthy, but there weren't a lot of huge pass plays. Why is it there this year?
I don't know. It's a good question. I haven't really thought about it. I think the fact that the receivers they've grown, they've gotten more mature. They're starting to get DBs on their toes. You know, I think they're really attacking those guys on their routes. You know, Rodney's doing a great job. He's been a deep pass threat since he's been here. He's always been a good playmaker for me. But I think all those guys are getting open, and they're starting to recognize coverages, as well as me. I can see it pre-snap. I already know, all right, I'm going to give this guy a shot. It's going to be a one-on-one on the corner. And I always feel like my receiver's going to come down with the ball.
It seems like maybe you're, Christian again was great, but you're more willing to take a shot downfield? Is that fair?
I don't know. I just feel like we have opportunities now. The line's been giving me time, and had opportunities to take a shot, and we're taking advantage of it.
Been a while since you played at Joe Campbell Stadium.
Yeah, it has. It has. It'll be awesome to get out there again with our fans out there. Hopefully have a great turnout. Like I said, it's going to be a great game against Maryland, so we're looking forward to it. They're a good team.
Brian Stork mentioned that he feels comfortable at center for a while. Can you feel that from him? And
definitely.
Just talk about his growth.
Yeah, definitely. His growth has been tremendous. I mean, it was kind of tough for him at first because, he kind of got thrown into the fire. But I think Stork is an extremely hard worker, and he's a very smart kid. He's very good with his calls as far as calling out the mics and things like that. And he communicates very well with me, as far as pass protections and things like that. So, I think that's the biggest thing, communication. He can tell me if he's having a problem, if I need to put more pressure on him, like on the snap and things like that. He doesn't mind letting me know.
And as a teammate, are you happy to see the growth Jacobs had? Because he went through kind of a rough stretch.
Right.
His first, few games. And
right.
It seems like he's finding himself.
Yeah, definitely. I think he's at his original position now at guard. So I feel like, the swap of Stork and Jake was great for us, as an O-line. So, it's all about comfortability and those guys having confidence. And Jake knows he can do it now just like Stork does.
EJ, speaking of the OL, making his second start was Bobby. Did you see a big difference for game one? I mean, obviously he had a lot on his plate. Game two, you see the maturity. And
definitely. Bobby's a very confident young man, and that's what I love about him. I told him before the game, don't feel like you have to do anything extra special. Just play you. Just do you. And that's what he did. He went out there, played confidently, played strong. I thought he did a very good job for, the right side, zebra head down the left side. So I was very happy for Bobby.
You were just talking earlier about some of the young guys filling in for some of the guys who've been injured this year. What has kind of been the locker room's vibe, given all the injuries, the big injuries too, like with Daco and guys like that this year?
I think it's been good. Even though Daco's, hurt, but he still has good spirits. He's still out there helping out Bobby. He's still out there helping Osway, all those guys, the young guys. I think that's the diversity in our team. Whether it's an older guy or a younger guy, the older guys don't mind helping out the younger guys. And I think that's going to help out, this program in the long run. Daco is a guy, obviously, he still wants to play football. He never thought Clemson would be his last college game. Obviously going to move on to the next level and things like that. But, the guy still wishes he could play, but he's still helping out the younger guys. He's not being selfish or anything like that.
EJ, obviously the psyche, I guess, of the rebuilt offensive line was on your mind a little bit when you assured these guys, look, I can buy a little time with my movement. You don't have to hold.
Right.
Tell me, when did that take place and kind of what was your thinking about, was that the purpose of it, just pretty much to reassure them?
Yeah, well, just to give them confidence. I always like to have confidence in, for my receivers, for them to tell me, hey, Eve, I'm going to get open for you. I'm going to run this route great, stuff like that. So any type of thing you can help, your teammate with confidence, that's always going to be good. I was never really worried about who was on our line because I've always felt like Coach Trickett does a great job, whether it's a senior or a freshman, getting those guys prepared week in and week out. So it really wasn't on my mind too much as far as, maybe like, oh, we might have a bad rush this weekend, things like that. I know those guys can get the job done.
I think Coach Moore said in high school he wanted you to be a prototypical passer. He didn't want to use your athletic ability because he wanted you to be a passer. Did you want to back then? I mean, were you did you want to be more of a running kind of guy, or
Nah, not really. Honestly, man, I'd much rather just sit back there and throw balls and let those guys do the running for me. That's why they run a 4.3, 4.4. I run 4.6, 4.5. So I would much rather let those guys run and get tackled and things like that. So I know if I have to take off and do what I have to do, I can do that and get down and get yards. But truthfully, to me, it doesn't matter whether it's throwing or running. I just want to win games.
So like on the play that when he threw to Dent, you could have run.
Yeah, definitely. I could have got 5 or 6 yards, but keep my eyes downfield and letting Dent run, and I guess he got 10 extra yards that I probably wouldn't have gotten.